welcome. I'm Paul Irwin, Dean of the School of Public Health, and I'd like to welcome you to this afternoon's School of Public Health Town Hall. Joining me today are folks from our public health leadership, Dr. Paul Muntner, Associate Dean of Research, Dr. April Carson, Associate Dean of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Dr. Lisa McCormick, Associate Dean of Public Health Practice, Dr. Ella Austin, Associate Dean of Academic Affairs, Leanne Robertson, Director of Administration and Fiscal Affairs, Julie Brown, Chair, the UAB School of Public Health Staff Council. To begin our updates, I want to announce our new faculty and staff appointments that have taken place over the past year, beginning from August the 1st in 2020. In the Dean's office, we have Ananya Bandio-Padaye, Sarah Hendren, and Luke Hansen. The Department of Biostatistics, Tara Clay, August McMahon, Delicia Burks, and Michael Busbin, and Nicole Rimbert. From Environmental Health Sciences, Dr. Jeffrey Wycliffe. From Epidemiology, Chunhua Jin, Aaron Dooley, and Kellen Lentz. From Health Behavior, Roberta Scott, Tatiana Brecht, and Dr. Lonnie Hannon. And two people who transitioned from staff to faculty, Dr. Tamika Smith in Health Behavior and Dr. Ann Brizendine in HCOP. My main message to all of you is that despite the many challenges and limitations imposed on us by the pandemic, the School of Public Health has provided a high-quality educational experience to our students, including our largest ever MPH cohort. Research awards and productivity have increased, raising our NIH rankings to 15th among the 63 accredited schools of public health. Our service and community engagement have thrived, especially our work with the Alabama Department of Public Health and the Jefferson County Department of Health. And we have continued to improve our financial health and infrastructure. For all of this, I thank you and I thank your families. When we transitioned to limited business operations in mid-March of 2020, it was hard to imagine that over a year later, we would still be meeting by Zoom and wearing masks. As notable with our list of new employees, though, we have been successful in continuing to hire new people, even with the temporary hiring suspension. For that, I want to express my appreciation to Leanne Robertson, our Director of Administration and Fiscal Affairs, as well as the departmental administrators and chairs. We have not had a single hiring exemption request turned back. And a lot of that is owed to good due diligence. Throughout the fall and spring, we were blessed with the silver lining of the pandemic. Yes, there are a couple of those. Our largest ever MPH cohort enrollment. Where we previously might have had 100 students in our core courses, this spring we have had over 270. And all of this was with the implementation of our newly revised MPH core curriculum. I want to thank Dr. Ella Austin for shepherding us through this and to acknowledge the dedication of the faculty who have been managing these very large classes. Ella Austin, Olivia Fuso, Lisa McCormick, Greg Pavella, Ann Brizendine, Jessica Chambliss, Julie Prescott, Kelly Swatzel, and Matt Feefel. Beginning late last spring and extending through the fall and into the spring, we have had two very large projects where a large number of staff have pivoted from their usual job responsibilities to take on new COVID-related work. The NIH-funded National Seroprevalence Study, led by Eric Ford, involved Joanna Carson, Tessa Graham, Tara Fields, Ananya Underwood, Wanda Skipwith, Melanie Doremus Bailey, Carrie Davis, Tanaya Jackson, Ellie Pruitt, Larian Battle, and Sarah Brooks providing significant administrative support. And the case investigation contact tracing work with the Alabama Department of Public Health, led by Andy Rux, involved Tara Fields, Etzel Gonzalez, Allie McBrayer, Anita Olds, Courtney Owen, Sylvan Parker, Rebecca Porter, Kenneth Walters, Daniel Williams, and Paul Wolf. Throughout the pandemic, many other School of Public Health employees have played and continue to play critically important roles at the university level in responding to the pandemic. And I want to acknowledge the work of Suzanne Judd, Jerry McGuinn, Russell Griffin, and David Redden, and the work of the school's emergency management team led by Paul Wolf. This spring, our associate deans and Leanne Robertson have been methodically reviewing our strategic plan, presenting data on achievements as well as revised metrics in our monthly executive committee meetings. By this summer, our strategic plan, first begun in 2018, will have gone through a complete overhaul, and we will press forward with a revised strategic plan for the next 3 years. Earlier this spring, Ebony Harris, our Director of Advancement, successfully navigated the renewal of a $100,000 gift from the Hearst Foundation, which supports scholarships for first-generation students. Ebony's work has also allowed us to move forward with the search for the LGBTQ endowed professorship. Later this spring, we will formally proceed with the launch of 2 cluster hires, one for climate and health, and the second on health inequities, structural racism, and environmental justice. For each of these, our aim is to hire a cadre of faculty with shared areas of emphasis that will expand our research portfolio, our curriculum, and provide new opportunities for community engagement. This year has also challenged us to find our better selves in responding to many national occurrences of racism and violence against people of color and immigrant communities, most especially Asian Americans. In the School of Public Health, in response to concerns expressed by students on the insufficiency of the curriculum regarding racism and its impact on the public's health, as well as other DEI-related matters, the Department of Health Behavior began what has become almost a year-long process of digging deep into not only the curriculum, but how the department operates and is managed, culminating in a town hall for health behavior students earlier this week. I want to acknowledge the leadership of April Carson and Kevin Fontaine in getting us to this place, as well as the contributions of Robin Lanzi, Greg Pavella, Catherine Kaiser, and the entire Department of Health Behavior. Your work can serve as a model for how we can respond to our students and create the conditions for a better future for us all. I can go on, and I'm sure I will not be able to name everyone who has made such a difference in this year, but let me reiterate how thankful I am, how fortunate I am, how proud I am to serve as your dean. Now, for the main focus of our town hall, we wanted this to be celebratory. So for all the awards we usually designate throughout the year, we have chosen to announce all of these in this platform, in this setting, to celebrate the achievements of our students, staff, and faculty. So to begin our awards, I will hand the microphone over to Dr. Ella Austin, our Associate Dean for Academic Affairs. Dr. Austin.
Thank you, Dean Irwin. Today, I am so excited to honor several outstanding teachers and students who contribute so much to the educational mission of the School of Public Health. First, I'd like to honor 2 exceptional teachers who have already really distinguished themselves in their short time here in the School of Public Health. The first award is the Early Career Teaching Award, which is awarded to an early career faculty member who has demonstrated distinction in teaching and a strong commitment to students. The winner of the 2021 Early Career Teaching Award is Dr. Jessica Chambliss. Of course, Dr. Chambliss has been teaching in the School of Public Health since she was a doctoral student, and she transitioned seamlessly into a teaching faculty position where she has led critical revisions to several core undergraduate courses and developed one of the new MPH core courses as well. every undergraduate and MPH student in the school takes a course with Dr. Chambliss at some point. And there is universal agreement that she is one of the most talented teachers in the school. So congratulations, Dr. Chambliss. The next award is the Innovation in Teaching Award, which recognizes faculty who bring innovative approaches to their courses. And while we often think of innovation in terms of technology or pedagogy, this faculty member demonstrates that innovation in teaching can also refer to how we approach the task of teaching itself and how we work to enhance the student experience. The winner of the 2021 Innovation in Teaching Award is Dr. Meredith Garten. Many of you already know of Dr. Garten's approach to teaching, as she has been one of the key contributors to the Friday teaching forums. We are all so lucky to be able to learn from someone who has put so much careful thought into designing truly student-centered courses. Congratulations, Dr. Garten. And now I am pleased to announce the 2021 Outstanding Student Awards. These are students who have distinguished themselves in the classroom, but more importantly, as members of the SOPH community. The 2021 Outstanding Undergraduate Student Award goes to Lindsay Ferraro. Outstanding MPH student is Joseph Ryan Buckman. The outstanding DRPH student is Anna Helova. And the outstanding PhD student is Karen Musgrove. Now, if any of these students haven't yet received your awards, you should be receiving them in the mail. Now, I would like to introduce Dr. Paul Muntner, Associate Dean for Research.
Thank you, Ella. I'm Paul Muntner, Associate Dean for Research, and I'm honored to present this year's Research Awards. The first award we have is the Independent Faculty Investigator Award. The purpose of this award is to recognize an investigator who has made significant contributions to public health research. This award recognizes faculty members who have a national reputation that brings prestige to UAB and the School of Public Health. Awardees have demonstrated success in obtaining multiple extramural peer-reviewed research grants. They are widely published and cited, and they're likely to serve as a research mentor to students and early career faculty. It is my honor to award the 2021 Independent Faculty Investigator Award to Dr. Ryan Irvin. Next, I'd like to present the Distinguished Faculty Investigator Award. The purpose of this award is to recognize a senior faculty member for their achievements throughout their career. This award recognizes faculty members who have an international reputation that brings prestige to UAB and the School of Public Health. Awardees also have an extensive record of receiving extramural peer-reviewed funding as a principal investigator, numerous high-impact publications as both first and senior author, and demonstrated success with and dedication to mentoring students and early career faculty. It's my honor to announce the winner of the 2021 Distinguished Faculty Investigator Award. It is Dr. Beth Lewis. Next, we have the Outstanding Staff Research Award. The purpose of this award is to recognize a staff member who has demonstrated outstanding performance in the conduct and/or dissemination of research. It's my honor to announce the 2021 Outstanding Staff Research Award is going to April Sisson. And finally, we have the Outstanding Research Administrator Award. The purpose of this award is to recognize a staff member who has demonstrated outstanding service in the administration of research. It is my honor to announce the 2021 Outstanding Research Administrator Award is going to Carol Mays. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Lisa McCormick, Associate Dean for Public Health Practice. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Again, I'm Dr. Lisa McCormick, and I am honored to present this year's Public Health Service Awards. We have two awards, one that recognizes a faculty member for their outstanding public health service, and the other that recognizes a staff member for the same. The purpose of both of these awards is to recognize members of our school whose work has honored the school's vision through their accomplishments in public health service. So we'll get right to it. The winner of the 2021 Faculty Award for Outstanding Public Health Service is Dr. Nicole Wright in the Department of Epidemiology. And the winner of the 2021 Staff Award for Outstanding Public Health Service is Ms. Mina Nabavi in the Department of Environmental Health Sciences and the Office of Public Health Practice. So congratulations to both Nicole and Mina for a job well done in a most difficult year. Now I would like to introduce Ms. Julie Brown, Chair of the UAB School of Public Health Staff Council, to present our final award, the Shared Values Award. Julie?
Thank you, Lisa. I'm Julie Brown, and I'm the Chair of the School of Public Health Staff Council. The purpose of the Shared Values Award is to recognize a School of Public Health staff member who has consistently exhibited excellence with one or more of the university's shared values in their day-to-day functions. The winner of the 2021 Shared Values Award is Katie Adams. Congratulations to Katie. And now I will turn this back over to Dean Irwin for a question and answer portion of the town hall.
Thank you, Julie, and congratulations to all of our 2021 award recipients. We are so proud of your hard work and dedication to the school's mission. All award recipients will hear from Marcel Whittier in the coming weeks regarding receiving the physical award accompanying this announcement. Next, we will begin the Q&A portion of our event. Thank you to all who submitted questions ahead of time. You can still send in your questions in the Q&A box now, and we will do our best to answer all that are submitted before the end of the hour. So thank you very much, and we'll check in with the questions. Leanne, we have a question about the Riles building and renovation plans. Can you please provide us an update on the Riles building and renovation plans? What's going on in the building?
Sure. Well, right now, the phase 2 of the UAB classroom technology is underway. We have new projectors in rooms 125, 121, and 417, along with new idea boards and whiteboards. So the old whiteboards have been stripped away and replaced with new materials that are directed at better resolution for filming. So that's all very exciting, and that will flow through to all of the classrooms. Flooring that was original to the building, we've taken advantage of having fewer people in Riles, and we've replaced about half of the original flooring, and we're continuing to do that. In addition to that, we've relocated project groups. 3 main groups have moved out of the 912 building. Rural and Regards have gone to Medical Towers. The SRU has moved to Riles, and the Center for the Study of Community Health has gone to the Edge of Chaos, as well as the Home Visit and AEAC project teams. Last but not least, the renovation for the lecture classroom 407 starts on May 3rd, and that is scheduled to be finished by the fall semester. I don't know if you can see behind me, but these are some of the finishes. Most of these were chosen with durability in mind, because if it's like the last version, we'll have it for a while, but the carpet is this long strip, and then there's the paint color and some of the upholstery for the seats. It still will be a tiered room that seats 120, and that will include 5 ADA compatible seats in the front. And in addition to that, there will be tabletops in front of the chairs, and the chairs will be fixed in the floor, but will swivel around 180 degrees so that students can turn around and work in groups. So we're all really excited about that. And thanks for everyone who's been involved in making those decisions and planning the room. There will no longer be a middle aisle, but we'll have the aisles on the side and the best technology for filming. So we're all very excited about that.
Great. Thank you, Leanne. Well, for the second question, I think I will try to tackle it, but we'll appreciate any additional input from any of the panelists as you wish. Can you speak about the return to work plans for employees in May and August? I think the best way for me to approach this is to talk about August 1st. And the goal for August is for everyone working in the building who was working in the building pre-COVID and or who has been hired since to work in the building, that will all return to working full-time in Riles or the other places where our offices are located. The May 10th timeframe is meant to provide us with a transition period. So by May the 10th, all employees who can return to work full-time in the building are required to do so. For those employees who cannot return to full-time work in the building for whatever reason, whether it's because of a medical condition, care for children, or for older loved ones in the home, or for other specified conditions, the May to August period is meant to allow you a period of transition from the current status of working either fully remotely or in a hybrid status to being able to return to work full time. But by May the 10th, we anticipate that the vast majority, well over 90% of our employees will be back in the building, be required to wear a mask, attend to good hygiene, physical distancing, which is being reduced from 6 feet to 3 feet. And by the way, 3 feet was the original WHO recommendation at the outset of the pandemic, which was expanded to 6 feet to err on the side of caution. With over 70 and probably closer to 80% of employees now vaccinated, our consideration amongst the school and UAB leadership was that safely reducing the physical distancing requirements would allow more people back in the building, and especially better and more efficient use of our classroom space. Okay, a third question. Will the new Delta Omega members be recognized? Yes, in our graduation celebration video, we will honor the new Delta Omega members. And so I encourage you to look at that. It'll be sent out May the 1st following the UAB commencement. All right, next question. And Leanne, I'll ask you to respond to this, and I can weigh in too if need be. Are we still able to use the atrium and cafe in the Edge of Chaos for socially distanced events?
Well, I found that indoor events are evolving based on the safety of students and faculty and staff. Administration has strongly encouraged for any events that we wish to host, either indoors or outdoors, that we follow an event pre-approval process, which can be found on the UAB website. It's uab.edu/event approval. So the safest thing to do is to follow the procedure for requesting permission for that. It is important to mention that the Edge of Chaos is now managed by the Center for Teaching and Learning. And so although the school does have priority for the space, but we do have to formally reserve the use of it.
And I will comment that for most of my own meetings, for one-on-one meetings, I will likely be meeting in person in the building after May the 10th. And for group meetings, there may be small group meetings where it's more efficient to meet in person. For large group meetings in the building, for meetings that I am managing, my personal preference will likely be continued Zoom meetings, simply because of my own difficulty in being in a large room with a lot of people and everyone talking through masks, and the difficulty for me to adequately hear people. Things like faculty meetings, other large meetings. These can take place in our large classrooms with sufficient physical distancing. And I will defer to department chairs on holding those in person or continue by Zoom, as well as deferring to any of our supervisory staff on how you want to manage your own small meetings. A related question, Leanne, for you and me, will we still be required to enter and exit doors and use stairwells as we do now?
So I just received some information through Maria actually today that facilities is sending teams out to remove and replace signs. Interestingly, we don't know what all of the changes will be. It's my impression that some of that is going to relax, but I found that decisions are made with the most recent, according to the most recent data. So I'm not sure exactly what the changes will be, but I know that it's a coordinated effort through UAB facilities and campus safety.
And that's what I'm hearing as well, that it'll probably be closer to May the 10th before a final decision on places like stairwells and entrance and exit doors will be made, but there will be appropriate signage that will be in place by May the 10th. How will open spaces where graduate assistants have worked in the past be handled on each floor if they return to work on campus in May?
Well, I think we have to evaluate each situation individually, to see what the proximity that people would be, the schedules, if the schedules would overlap, and if people would be comfortable with the distance between one another, and we'll have to address that as they come.
I know that many of the graduate assistants and doctoral carrels from the 6th and 5th floor were removed for other reasons, and space for students was given in each department, which actually helps to facilitate physical distancing for those students.
I toured the building as soon as I heard when the May 10th information was released. That was one of the first things that I thought of. And I came up on a Saturday morning and just sort of knocked on doors and went into suites to look, because I just couldn't remember exactly how close some of the spaces were. I really only saw a couple of areas that I thought would make people extremely uncomfortable. Of course, those decisions are individual and we want everyone to be comfortable. But I was pleasantly surprised that most of the spaces, although not 6 feet apart, were largely 3 feet apart. So I hope it works out.
For our next question, Dr. Muntner, I'm going to pitch it to you. Are there still opportunities to get involved in COVID-19 research at the school?
The short answer is yes. To expand on that a bit, I'd like to start off by mentioning for those interested in COVID-related research and the impact of COVID on ongoing research, there is a COVID roundtable tomorrow afternoon at 3:30. Please email me if you need the registration information. With that said, UAB is at the forefront of many aspects of COVID-related research. This includes research on vaccine hesitancy, vaccine development, the impact of COVID infections, but also the long-term impact of COVID. And so I would recommend you can reach out to the Office of Research or faculty members in your department if you're interested in engaging in COVID-related research. Additionally, we're planning on having another back of the envelope competition later this spring, in the early summer perhaps. And that'll be another opportunity to propose innovative research ideas that involve COVID.
Great, thank you, Paul. Our next question, are we still going to be required to do weekly progress trackers upon returning to campus or work after May the 10th? And the short answer is no. If you're working in the building, you will not need to do your progress tracker. The progress tracker is meant only for those who are working remotely or working in a hybrid fashion. So our next question, and Dr. Carson, I'm going to ask you to address this. What is the school doing to ensure that it remains an environment of diversity and inclusion?
Thank you for the question. So this past year, as you all are aware of, we implemented the expectation that all faculty and staff would complete the university's 4-course Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion series. I'm pleased to let you all know that the completion has been moving very swiftly, and I want to thank you for participating in those courses, and feedback has been very positive. The intent with that was to provide not only foundational knowledge, but also for people to consider how to approach situations that may be uncomfortable and to prepare for that. So that's our first step in providing that opportunity for all of the faculty and staff. Going forward, you will see additional efforts that will be ongoing each year so that we are building upon it. I think we're moving forward with this information as far as what we've been hearing from faculty and staff and even our students on the feedback. And so this will be something that we continue to build on going forward.
Next, will any updates be made to seating in room 507? Will the same tables and chairs be used for in-person teaching in the fall? Leanne, you're welcome to comment on this. From what I understand, with a change in spacing to 3 feet between people, that will be the change for 507, as it will be for any of our classrooms. Any other changes to seating in 507?
We do have the opportunity with the change from the 6 feet of distance to 3 feet to move additional tables and chairs back into the classrooms. And we have scheduled movers to do that. And facilities will send a team through to review and make sure that we're in compliance with that 3 feet distancing.
All right, let's see a next question, and I'm going to ask Ella to answer this. Will we need to teach in mask this summer and fall?
Dean Irwin, you may know better than I. The latest guidance that the academic deans have received with regard to that is that it's still an evolving situation, and that decisions on how to ensure the safe return to the classroom will be made, as each semester approaches and as we have information on the current case counts. My understanding is that the summer is somewhat of a transitional time where we will likely still be masked and distanced, and then the fall may look more like normal. But again, that's all very much dependent on real-time information about case counts.
Right, and that's exactly what I'm hearing as well, Ella. And I think that one of the important messages that you just reiterated is that the university is committed to using information and data to make informed decisions, that we're not simply flying by the seat of our pants regarding these decisions. So our next question, I'm going to ask Leanne to take as well. In light of the university task force examining hybrid and remote work, will there be an opportunity for hybrid work schedules in the future?
Well, I'm as interested as anyone else. I have not received official information from Human Resources on the opportunity for long-term hybrid work schedules. It is definitely a question that I'm asking and other schools are. It's my understanding that right now a task force is reviewing the summer reentry plans to just get a feel in the aggregate of how many people will be working in capacity. So I think that review is ongoing. Is that your understanding, Dean Irwin?
It is, yeah, it is. Again, as with many of the questions that are being asked and our attempts to answer them, we're adding at the end of most of these responses, the information is evolving, and it's continuously evolving as the pandemic itself evolves on campus. Ella, I've got a question for you, please. Can you provide updates on what classes in the summer and fall will actually look like?
Yes, absolutely. So this summer, as I said, will mostly be in a transitional period. In summer, we generally have primarily online courses anyway. That's usually what our summer looks like. The on-campus courses that we have this summer will continue to be distanced to 3 feet. And then faculty will continue to be distanced at the front of the classroom. I don't think that we'll make any adjustments to where faculty are standing, and so they will still have that distance. In fall, we will return to on-campus and online course modalities only. There will be no more hybrid or remote courses. And as of right now, as I said, we think that the distancing requirements will be eliminated and we'll be returning to regular classroom capacity. Although again, that is all, entirely contingent on what the pandemic looks like at that time. We'll be getting additional guidance throughout the summer, and we'll make sure that people know well ahead of time what the expectations are with regard to masking for students, for people in the building, outside of the building, and for faculty who are teaching.
Right, thank you, Ella. And this next question I'll ask both Paul Muntner and Ella, if you would want to respond as well. What are the plans for allowing graduate students to apply for the back of the envelope research awards?
Well, I can get started with the response and feel free to chime in. So I think that's a great idea. And it's something we haven't talked fully about the opportunity, but as people who've been around the school for a long time know, back of the envelope awards in the past have been awarded to both faculty and graduate students. And so I think that it would provide a great opportunity for students to propose highly innovative and high impact research.
A next question, if I test positive for COVID-19 after the May 10th return, how many weeks should be required before returning to campus? I will say this will depend on, in part, on the vaccination status of the individual. But in following CDC guidelines pre-vaccination, that time period ranged from 10 days to 14 days, depending on the setting, and we'll continue to abide by that. A related question is, if a child in our family has to be quarantined due to exposure, do we have options for working remotely due to childcare needs related to quarantine? Leanne, your thoughts about that question?
I have not heard the answer to that. That's a really good question. I mean, I would think that's something that has to be worked out. So because children under the age of 16 don't have an opportunity for a vaccination. So we'll look into that. For sure.
I think, yeah, that's.
Yeah, I think we'll have some institutional guidance on that.
Right. It certainly does stand to reason that being able to provide that remote work for employees in those settings is something that would be of value and advantageous for both the employee and the school itself. And certainly.
Absolutely. Yes.
This next question, will the school require that employees provide proof of vaccination for in-person meetings? The short answer to that is not at this time. There have been lots of discussions at the senior leadership level about requiring vaccination, whether it's for staff, for faculty, or for students. Part of the challenge in exploring that right now is that the vaccines are still under emergency use authorization. And the general feeling is that until vaccines receive final approval from the FDA, that vaccine requirements cannot be a part of school policy. I can tell you that at least in participating in discussions regarding vaccine requirements, that that when it is possible to require vaccines and vaccination status for students and for employees participating in clinical care, that likely will take place. But that is to a degree speculation on my part, because we don't have a final answer there. Well, this next question, I guess I will have to take, because the question is, will we still receive Friday emails from the dean? And I'll have to ask you a question in return. Do you want to receive Friday emails from the dean? And so I will look forward to hearing from you regarding that question. If they're of value to you, if they provide you with information, if on occasion they provide you with some inspiration, I enjoy doing them. It's one of the ways that I have felt connected to the school. So I'll appreciate hearing back from all of you on that. The next question, are we still able to sign up to volunteer at vaccine sites? And the answer is yes. An email went out last week in the Reporter. So volunteers are still very much needed at UAB vaccine sites. If you're not able to locate that information in the Reporter, let me ask that you shoot an email to Maria White, and she will put you in touch with the right people. Ella, can you explain the details of the drive-up walk-through public health graduation celebration at Riles?
Yes, so this year, since we aren't going to be able to gather as a large group inside as we have previously for our graduation celebrations, we have decided to host a walk-up and drive-through format out behind Riles in the parking lot, where students can either come through in their cars or walk up. That is Thursday, April 29th from 3 to 6 out in back of Riles. And we are going to be celebrating spring, summer, and fall 2020 graduates in addition to spring 2021 graduates. So this will be the first time that we have any sort of in-person event for all of the students who have graduated during the pandemic semesters. We have several staff and faculty who have signed up in limited shifts. Again, we're working to make sure that the whole event stays socially distanced. So we do have people who have signed up to work at this event, and we will be giving out small gift bags to the students who come through that have cookies and the SOPH lapel pin that graduates get when they transition to being alumni of our school. We've just reopened the RSVP for this event, so there is still time for students to sign up, and we'll leave that RSVP up through next Wednesday. So hopefully we'll have lots of our students who have graduated over the past several semesters come out and join us for this graduation celebration and send-off.
Great, I look forward to that, Ella, and look forward to seeing our students and faculty and staff there. I'm going to jump back up to a previous question because I gave probably not completely correct responses to the question about if I test positive for COVID-19 after the May 10th return, how many weeks should be required before returning to campus? And the current CDC recommendations still hold. 10 days since symptoms first appeared, and 24 hours with no fever, without the use of fever-reducing medications, and other symptoms of COVID-19 are improving. So 10 days, not 10 to 14 days, but again, that's 10 days after symptoms first appeared. So I wanted to clarify that. And again, the best place to find that information, the most reliable place, is the CDC COVID-19 website. So let's continue on with other questions. Let's see what we have here. Leanne, after approved travel out of state, are employees required to quarantine before returning to campus?
Not that I'm aware of, and I did receive from Bernard Mays, the controller of UAB, some reminders about domestic travel, since domestic travel restrictions will lift on August 1st. So I can forward that to faculty and staff. I think I was going to wait closer to August 1st, but I'll go ahead and send that out along with the links to the event approvals. And also just to remind everyone, there are visitors on campus, and there have been. For example, the installation of the classroom technology is being performed by a third-party vendor. So there are guest and vendor protocols for bringing visitors to UAB, and I'll include all of that in one email. So
And
we'll,
that includes guest speakers coming to campus in the fall?
it would include guest speakers. Again, the process for that is having a guest speaker would constitute an event on campus. So the first step in that would be to go through the event approval process and receive approval to have that event, at which point we can all refer to the visitor protocols for bringing the guest speaker to campus.
Leanne, I don't know if this is, I don't know what to do with this question, but I'm just going to give it to you anyway. Will the seasonal bake sales start back after May?
Well, this is very helpful because as I was, I did want to talk again and say that one of the things that we have seen with events and some research projects that involve training is the reimbursement for food has been particularly difficult when that wasn't approved in advance, because gatherings involving food have been very strictly restricted for COVID. So we would certainly have to follow the event approval process. I don't see bake sales in our near future, but we could certainly check on that through the process.
And so if we're especially talking about student bake sales for fundraising, if these are individually wrapped items or individually packaged items and they're not being consumed right there where people are having to unmask, it seems to me that that would be allowable, but we'll wait for further instructions from you.
Again, one of the advantages of the event approval process is it takes the described event and really puts it through, every review that is needed, including that. So that'd be a great place to start.
So let's see. The next question, will departments still be expected to enforce office guidelines of how many individuals can be within an office? We will continue to follow UAB guidelines regarding the number of people who can be in any one room or any one gathering place, whether it's inside or outside, to allow for appropriate masking and physical distancing. And this is, as we have really done throughout the pandemic, we've considered this to be a shared responsibility, one that's shared and must be enforced by all the individual units. I'm not the building police, and I cannot be all over the building, and don't intend to be walking in and out of the building in that manner, looking for people who are not abiding by these requirements. This is a shared responsibility that is supported by human resources and student affairs. Certainly, if anyone has concerns about safety issues that are not being addressed, among other places in which I hope you would bring it up to me, you can report the issue online at uab.edu/ethics. And we can again include that information and follow up to the town hall. Let's do one last question before closing remarks. And Leanne, I'm going to pitch this one to you again. How often will common areas be sanitized?
Several times a day, and common areas are the elevators and the break rooms and the lobby areas, the doors to the restrooms. Most of you are aware that we now place our trash outside in the hallways to be collected so that the environmental services team can spend more time on the common areas. And that is something that I see happening.
Well, goodness gracious, thank you for all of those questions. I really, really do appreciate that. We will we'll certainly, if other questions come in these last few minutes, we'll answer those and get those out in a very quick manner to the entire school. So with that, I'd like to make a few closing remarks and then wind up our town hall. I want to once again thank all of our panelists, our School of Public Health leadership for participating, to Chris Sima and Maria White for their work behind the scenes to prepare and provide this webinar. And to most importantly, to thank all of you who have joined us, who have taken the time and stayed on the call and have joined us. I want to thank you for all of your hard work during this challenging year. Brighter times are ahead. I'm confident of that. Thank you for joining us for today's town hall. And with that, I bid you good afternoon.